All right, so today's going to be a little bit different. Today is the first time that I'm gonna answer some of the questions that some of you had. So this time I want to answer a question from Shreya. I hope I pronounced it correctly. I didn't really see the name anymore, from India. So um, so I'm just gonna check real quick what the name is. So yeah, Shreya. So Shreya from India um, asked me. So what Shreya basically does is she writes a little bit on Medium, built an email list of a couple hundred followers, and what she wants to do is she wants to become like some sort of designer, and design like some small, like some small kind of notes, kind of newspaper, kind of small pictures with maybe with motivational quotes but that doesn't really matter that much. So, and now she wants to know how she can start selling or building her brand in this kind of space. So I think one of the most important things, especially if it's something that's handmade, is that people actually see the process. It's really about showing people how you do it. So for example, you could make a daily Instagram post where you post like all of the things that like the one piece of art you created during that day. And then on your website or even on your Instagram account, people can see how you drew it. So basically, you put out one piece of content every single day, for example, on Instagram. But what's important is that people actually see how you do it, and because handmade stuff is so rare. Like so many people, they crave handmade stuff, but it's so hard to get. And I think that's one of the ways how you can position yourself in a pretty nice spot, simply because people will see, oh yeah, so she's actually doing these things, she's drawing the manual, and of course at one point you're going to buy a print, but you're going to do the manual. You show people the process of how you do it, and that builds up trust because they see the person. Just like here, when you see a person in video, it's a whole different level than just seeing an email newsletter, for example. And I think one of the things that is really important to realize and to understand is that at the Amazon, Etsy, eBay, all of these platforms, you will participate in a race to the bottom. Simply because it's hard to build up trust on Amazon or Udemy. If you're completely Amazon, Udemy, Etsy, eBay's, the whatevers, it's really hard to build up trust on these platforms because you cannot tell a story. You can simply put your product there. I'm not saying you shouldn't put your products there. I think you should follow a strategy where you put your products on every single platform out there, on Etsy, on eBay, on Amazon, but you price it a lot higher than everybody else. And because like most of the time, like organic sales to Amazon and all these platforms will basically be zero. But what you got to do is you got to build up trust. You got to build up trust by putting out one piece of content every day, but showing up every single day. That what I'm doing right now is nothing else. Because trust is the difference between someone being able to sell an e-course for $10 and an e-course for the exact same content for $500 or $600. It's the trust, because people get to know you. They see what you put in. They understand who you are. And then they're willing to pay a price point that's a lot higher, simply because if you walk around on the streets, you're not going to buy a high-priced product from someone you don't know. You basically just buy knockoff products, unless you go in a store you trust and you're ready to pay a higher price. It's really about building up trust, and trust you build it up by showing up every single day. And if you want to sell through emails, I think it's really hard. So for example, you put out like an email to your like 800 or 1,000 subscribers. You let them know about your new small kind of motivational pictures or notes or whatever. Maybe 1 to 2% of the people will buy. This is always going to be the case. So what you got to do is really about building up trust, showing up, showing your face by increasing, and then you'll increase the conversion rate. I'm not necessarily saying that, for example, an email list that was built through Medium, you're not going to sell, but I think it's going to be a lot harder. So it's really about building an audience by putting out, for example, one piece of content on Medium, Medium, or on Instagram or on Snapchat. That's where you do exactly show people how you write these things. And there's one project that you might want to take a look at is Buddha Doodles. It's also about a woman. She drew like small cards, and what she does, it's pretty cool. It's like, I think, a monthly or a weekly card. She sends it to people, and it's a subscription every single month, because the problem is if you just sell one card every, like, you know, one card to one person, you will not have any recurring revenues. So even if it's just $10 a month, out of these $10 a month, if someone subscribes to these small notes for like 12 months, that's already $120 instead of maybe just a one-time interaction. So long story short, I think it's all about building up trust. You build up trust by showing up over and over again, by showing your face, by showing how you create these pieces. And then at one point you might maybe even do a course on, or sell a course on Teachable or Udemy or whatever, or Skillshare, whatever platform you want, how people can also start creating these small things. So that's maybe in the future. So again, trust, be everywhere, over and over again, show your face, videos, show how it's done, and then maybe in the future you might maybe even be able to teach people. And that's how you could build a sustainable business out of writing small pieces of motivational drawings, motivational quotes, or whatever. So by the way, in case if you have any questions, anyone, feel free to ask. If it's a cool question, I want to talk a little bit about it, I'm going to answer during the show. So don't worry, if you have any question, either send me a private message, post in the Facebook group, I'll leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you tomorrow.